Hi there. I've got a few random thoughts I wanted to cover today. The first one is Governor Murphy has listened to Union County freeholder Angela Garrettson, and now she's no longer a freeholder. Thanks to her, Governor Murphy has decided to change the name Freeholders to Commissioners. That's awfully close to Commissars, if you ask me. Anyway, why not freeloaders? Why didn't they change it to that? Everybody joked about freeloaders that way anyway, at least when I was younger. Okay, now, the one question I have about this is important? This is what is important in New Jersey? A name change of the freeholders? Come on, give me a break. All right, next up. The Texas hospitals are supposedly getting jammed up with people. First off, I've dug into it a little bit, and they are not getting overrun. They are at capacity, but there are several reasons for it. First off, the COVID-19 patients, most of them who are being admitted to the hospitals are older people with pre-existing health problems. So we're not getting an overrun of, or not filling up the Texas hospitals with COVID patients. Where we are filling up the hospitals is people who had scheduled elective surgeries the last 3 months and couldn't get them because of the shutdown, and because they were afraid to go, and the hospitals weren't taking them because of, they wanted to have space for COVID patients. Well, these people are all coming out now, so there is a backlog of elective surgeries, and the hospitals are just filled up all the time, like a hotel, people coming and going, coming and going. Also, there are people who, because of the fear of of catching COVID, they were sick during the lockdown, and they didn't go to the hospitals because they were deathly afraid of catching COVID. Understandable. You go into the hospital for one thing and you come out with something that's going to kill you. I can understand that. But a lot of these people are coming into the hospital now, and many of them, it's a little too late to treat whatever they had, or things have advanced, and some of them are actually facing death. Okay, that's all thanks to the lockdown. All right, what do we have here? The COVID. Oh yeah, another thing. Elective surgeries, they're important because they are the lifeblood of hospitals. They're the ones that paid that carry the bulk of the payments of salaries to doctors, nurses, and hospital staff at all levels. So those elective surgeries are important. And for 3 months, they were prohibited from doing that because of the lockdown. The media-generated, Democrat-supported lockdowns. The media is still lying about Texas to this day and still creating a panic. They are still hoping that, if they create another lockdown, that maybe, just maybe, Joe Biden, the demented Joe Biden, can replace Donald Trump as president. God forbid. Oh, third, congratulations to Bill DeBlasio. Comrade DeBlasio has undone all the lowered crime statistics, everything that lowered crime under his two predecessors' terms has been undone. Mayor Giuliani came in, really, put the hammer down and reduced crime a lot, especially homicides. Mayor, what's his name, Bloomberg, even though I'm not a fan of his, I gotta admit, he kept the city safe also. He was hard where he had to be hard. Now, de Blasio did not allow his cops, I forget how many tens of thousands of New York City police cops there are, but he told them to stand down and not let them, wouldn't let them stop the looters. He said these were peaceful protests, even as the protests were turning into riots, arson, looting, and beating of random strangers, random innocent bystanders, things like that. Cops were powerless. And we all know how de Blasio has a history of hating cops in the first place. The cops are really, really against him now because they were not allowed to do their jobs, and if they try and do their job, they run the risk of getting penalized somehow. And in recent weeks, several hundred police officers have been seriously considering retiring from the force early because they don't want to put up with this bullshit. All right. DeBlasio has also decreed that there are no parades, no concerts can be attended by anyone because you can't get social distancing at those events. However, he has also decreed in the same breath that BLM protests are allowed. Come on, you got Antifa and BLM members side by side. Well, not thousands, but hundreds of them. Okay, and they're not gonna. They're okay. They're not gonna spread the COVID virus, only if none of them has it. The same thing would be true for concerts and parades too, by the way. But we can't. I guess we can't expect DeBlasio to use logic. All right. Okay. So far as masks go, by the way, the mask is supposed to be. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. People have been asking me what this is. This scratch here. This is from my moving the mask, taking it off, putting it on. I scratched myself with my mask. All right. One of these things. Scratched myself. All right, and it hurts too. It's like a paper cut almost. Okay, getting back to masks. Now, some people are saying now that, the virus is airborne. Oh, yeah, it's airborne. Okay, if it's airborne, first off, we know scientifically, they told us months ago, that if the virus enters your mouth, you're okay because it'll go down to your stomach, and where the stomach acid, the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, will kill it, undoubtedly. So we are covering our mouths anyway, and our noses. The nose, okay, because it can get into the sinuses, into that area there, the mucous membranes, and affect your body that way. But the virus can also enter your eyes. That's why you're told not to touch your face, because you don't want to get it in your eyes. So why are we wearing masks over our mouths and noses like this? I mean, the mouth is the safest spot. Shouldn't we be wearing masks like this to protect ourselves? Maybe some see-through masks. Maybe somebody can start manufacturing see-through masks. I think it's all bullshit. Mostly bullshit anyway. I do wear a mask when I go to stores because, we have to and so forth. I could exercise my rights and say, no, it's not a law. Although now Governor Murphy is going to mandate masks even when you're outside the house. Well, too bad, because I go to the park on my daily walks. I take that mask off. I put the mask on before I leave my apartment, go outside. As soon as I'm out in the fresh air, that mask comes off. Nobody's around. Who am I going to catch it from? If it's airborne, I'm risking myself, okay? No one else. And anyway, I go to the park, I do my walk, I have the mask on my wrist, I have it ready to put on if necessary. It's rarely been necessary. And I'm sorry, I'm ranting again. Here we go. Let's go. All right, you know what? Let's get off masks now real quick and go to what Governor Murphy did to restaurants. He had okayed the opening of restaurants and so forth. Then last week, all of a sudden, he said, no, can't open indoor restaurants because the outdoors, they're getting too close together. Never mind that the people sitting at a table have already been in contact with each other, are usually family members, husband, wife, family, husband, wife, kids, whatever. And the waiters are wearing masks. The waiters, servers are all wearing masks. So what's the problem? No, he says people are too close together, so he's not allowing that in. My girlfriend and I went down to Somerville a few days ago. We were driving by Somerville, actually, and we remembered the diner we'd stopped at. It's called, what is it? I want to give it a plug. It's a great diner. Oh, God, I can't remember. Anyway, we go in there, and we have to wait to order to take out only. While I was there, I was talking to one of the workers, and he said they weren't opening because the governor had said, no, you could open on Friday, but on Thursday he said, no, you can't open. Meanwhile, he said his boss had gone on Wednesday and ordered all new food for the diner. So he stocked up again to reopen on Friday. What happens? Now he's stuck with all this food, which will eventually go bad. and he can't open the thing. He has to rely on people coming in and picking up orders. Not too many people are doing that, unfortunately. He doesn't have enough room in the parking lot to put too many tables. He could, but it's not going to help because a lot of the food he's got there, unless he freezes it or returns it, I don't know if he can return it, he's going to be out a lot of money again. And I was talking to the owner's wife too, and she says she doesn't know how they're going to survive this. Thank you, Governor Murphy. Another business, another small business you're killing. Actually, another whole segment of small businesses you're killing. All right. Okay, oh, here we go. Minnesota Senator Dr. Scott Jensen. He is a state senator in Minnesota. He is also a doctor. Now, recently, he's made revelations about the death certificates that were, that covered some, let me see, he had an anonymous complaint made against him because he was speaking out against orders that the CDC gave and others gave to fill out death certificates saying that people died of COVID. No matter what they came in with, if they were exposed to, or if there was even a thought that they might have been exposed to COVID because they were in the hospital and they died, they may have come in with a heart problem. They may have come in, because they had something that was choking them. I don't know. Something with the lungs that unrelated to COVID. They came in, they died, kidney problem, whatever. They had to write down COVID because it was possible. And remember, hospitals are all getting extra money for COVID patients. So every bed they had, or every patient they had that had COVID, they would get, $6,000 per patient. And the hospitals needed the money, especially during the shutdown, because they weren't doing elective surgeries, which is their bread and butter. And even emergency calls, they weren't getting that because people were too scared to come to the emergency room, as I said earlier. So he's got this anonymous complaint against him, and now the state medical board is looking to yank his medical license. Why? Because he's telling the truth? His First Amendment rights are being squashed. He is a professional. He is telling people this is what's happening. We are being duped. And now he's being penalized for it. Plus, the medical board refuses to give him the name of the person or persons who made the complaint against him. So anonymous complainants can destroy your career. Very good. Very good. America's heading in the right direction with leftists in charge, isn't it? All right, my final thing is Harvard University. And Harvard's just an example I'm using. In 2016, Harvard University's endowment was valued at $36.5 billion. Billion, would it be? Now, this university teaches their students that capitalism is bad. Okay, I mean, they put out people who go into the capitalist world, the corporate world, and they are the ones who are kowtowing to all these special interest groups, the small groups that have the loudest noise, that yap the loudest, like little chihuahuas who are running around making so much noise that you want to just do whatever the heck the doggy wants to shut it up. And so Harvard is churning out these anti-capitalist and anti-American students. I don't know if we should call them students or just indoctrinated individuals. Okay, so they have refused, they have said that they are not going to open their classrooms in September. Students are going to have to do everything remotely, online. President Trump, after that, decided, well, we don't need the foreign students who are here on a student visa. They can go home, because if they can do it online here, they can do it online at their home. Mainly in China, because there are a lot of Chinese students here that the Chinese government wants here, who come here to spy on our country, okay? And afterwards, a lot of these students from overseas, after they get their degrees at these prestigious universities, they apply for jobs, a lot of tech jobs especially, in corporate America. This reduces the number of jobs available to Americans. So a company, an IT company, a company over in Silicon Valley that would say maybe pay $150,000 or $175,000 a year to a particular IT guy for a particular job can now get away with paying 125 or even 100 to this foreign national who's more than happy to get that, because maybe he was even, his family might be poor over in China or India or wherever the hell they come from. So that takes away from Americans getting well-paying jobs. Donald Trump's edict to get rid of them, these students, opens the possibility that students who graduate who are here, who are Americans, have a better chance now at getting the jobs, because the guy in China isn't going to be able to quickly apply for a position with a company here in the United States. All right, it's going to take him a while to get everything done through email or regular mail or fax or whatever. So it helps Americans get jobs. What else here? Oh, also, Harvard has refused to reduce their tuition charges for teaching online. So they're not going to the classrooms. Students aren't going to classrooms, but they're getting charged the same thing. Now, Harvard and others too, but we're taking Harvard as an example, with probably by now $40 billion in endowments, they could, in fact, I heard one guy say that it was actually $50 billion. But let's say $40 billion right now, or even at $36.5 billion. They could afford to teach all the students enrolled at Harvard for free. This would eliminate tuition costs for the students, so their parents don't have to mortgage the house to pay for the kid's education. The kid doesn't have to worry about not having enough money to eat because he's got to pay his tuition. Kids won't have to go and take student loans and get in debt for 10, 20 years because of the high tuition. Harvard could educate all its students for free and still have plenty of money left over. Every year it replenishes. They make money on their money, so they'd never run out. But they're greedy bastards. And these are the universities, these are the institutions teaching that capitalism is evil, greed is evil. They're right on the second one. Greed is evil. But don't denigrate capitalism. Not when you're a greedy MF, okay? Anyway, that's all I have today. Short one. I hope I didn't come off as an angry old man like some of my critics call me. So, hey, have a good day. I might see you later on.